Second race of the year. Moto2 is under orders and about 2-year-old getting it bang on, and look at this, sweeping through from the second row. Right slow, or was he just a little bit sharp off the mark? But there's no doubt about Martin that gets out. Navarro, disaster for Navarro, second place man in qualifying has gone. I think that's what's happened to Navarro. Found himself down on the deck of Canet it was that swept through. I said that kid was one to watch for, and he's come from the second kind of momentum in these early laps. The thing about Moto2 is it's the early laps you need to watch for.
Pace for a shorter duration. Luca Marini said he didn't really see him as a threat over the lap.
Be interesting to see if Canet's got the same strategy then as Jorge Martin, reading through the sheet. Dunlops.
This season Dunlop have brought a new front, slightly bigger tyre, a little bit more contact higher, the better it feels. We do have roughly an 80-20 split between the softer front option, apart from some Kiat Chantra.
There's no shocks as far as track temperature is concerned. Oh, have an elbow. A bit of land if you don't mind. So there, elbows out. Keep every bit of it as we go back to the start. Wow, look at...
But from the front row, Navarro drops all the way down. He's near middle of your shot, just watch the rear.
That looked to you like he took his handlebar, just
hooked
the handlebar in his leathers, and
the handlebar hooked the arm, and down he went.
Nothing you can do about that. Out front, Jorge Martin from Aaron Canet, from Luca Marini, Tatsuta Nagashima, the winner of leads the World Championship after one round back in Qatar, way back on March the 8th.
After that contact with Schrotter down the front straight, but looking good.
Schrotter's never won, but he's looked fast, and I wonder whether he'll carry that forward into this race again. The neatness of the Moto3 rider clashes with the slightly more forceful mode. Shifted Canet off his line. Nagashima's still fourth, Sam Lowe's still fifth. Bezzecchi, so gets fifth place from Bezzecchi. This race as well, it looked good throughout the week. It's all about race pace with Moto2. Jake Dixon is going to be doing a long lap penalty. Well, his lure doesn't put him in a decent place at all. Jake Dixon then 16th at the moment, just outside the point. How to make some places up by the end of the race, but it won't be what he wanted, that is for certain.
So he's going to lose a lot of track position in terms of place. He's in there at 16th in that group with but unfortunately he's made that indiscretion, jumped the start ever so slightly. He was a little bit too had to take that long lap penalty and lost about 8 places.
The only good thing, I suppose, is so Jake Dixon will be taking that long lap in a while. We'll see that. I'm sure. The third place, Aaron Canet now fourth, Bezzecchi fifth. Schrotter has come up ahead of Sam Lowe's as well. But Sam now in 7th place. So there, did he get in the wrong gear?
I think he looked like he had a little bit of a rear moment exiting the last corner.
Down the front straight, he was elbowing the rear end of Marcel Schrotter. But anyway, that was right at the beginning. Marini looking for a way around the outside. That'll be brave.
Just in the straight, that's not actually dirty when you put your elbows out, that's protecting your controls almost. You give yourself Zeki and Navarro, when your controls are exposed, if you like, it's easy to tangle.
Ping your brake lever the wrong way and you've not got one at the next stopping point. So through, and your pole man has gone back into second place. His teammate Nagashima is right there.
Nagashima's in a hurry to get through here on his teammate Jorge Martin. Perhaps move away from this group. He's looked fast and smooth throughout the weekend, always putting in consistent runs.
KTM have pulled out of their programme of chassis for Moto2, so they are running Calac chassis right there. The rookie, only in his second Moto2 race, on the 44 machine, is right there in 4th place still. Bezzecchi, I wondered how he performed this weekend with that injury he's got. It looks uncomfortable when he's walking about.
Perhaps the injury itself isn't painful, but you will compensate with muscles rather than loading that damaged ankle. So I'll watch Bezzecchi with interest as this maintain this performance and perhaps not use too much energy in the early laps. He could be ready
hard at the moment trying to get past Aaron Canet. Aaron Canet doing a great job as he gets used to Moto2 power. From Moto3 up towards MotoGP. He moved closer to MotoGP specs and moved away from Moto3. So a Moto3 rider making a jump up into Moto2 is a big
step from that 250cc single-cylinder Moto3 engine. It doesn't have a lot. I've seen John McPhee and Albert Arena spoke about it. A little bit of wheel spin in the Moto3 guide is scored now with a little bit more torque in these Moto2 engines.
Marini easing away at the front. It's the one of them, and he's slowly easing away. So Luca Marini looking very good off 8. Marco Bezzecchi, he also he's looking for, he puts him in the middle of the second row. So watch out for the number 72. Slowly. So Schrotter having got in front of him. Remy Gardner still in 8th place. Xavi Vierge there started in 9th. He is in ninth at the moment, so still to go in it. That's not where you wanted to end up, that is for sure. So
again, he's been on the ground several times this weekend.
Well, Somkiat Chandra, he went on the ground yesterday, and then the bike bounced off fairly sore, I would have thought by now. Front straight, 72 Bezecchi looking at the man in front. Can he make that pass? Nagashima, winner of Qatar, surfing, if you remember, in the rain that time when he bike surfed across our screens.
In that Honda Team Asia, the Mitsu squad, and being a Japanese rider in there, I thought that was the perm. He wasn't at home. That's a nice move by Bezecchi on the brakes. And
just got it kicking sideways as well.
Stop and go team, possibly without insulting them, a B-rate team in Moto2, and he squad. And it just seems at home, and Naki's managed to tap into that potential, looking on for another podium finish at this stage in round 2 here at Jerez.
No smarter team owner. Somkiat Chandra absolutely punted off his motorbike.
Unfortunately, trailing that break in there, trying to pull it down. Oh. That is.
He's going to need helping up on his ankle, that is for sure. So Bezecchi hopefully hasn't made that any worse. So so Marco Bezecchi fancied himself certainly for a podium. If difficult to see from
We've seen a few crashes there this weekend where the riders get their front wheel onto the unlucky there for Bezecchi.
So Marini out bike, the pole man Jorge Martin. Up really well. I've got to say, a 4th place in his second Moto2 ride is pretty.
Navarro to be a fight at the front. Obviously he crashed out in turn 1, but Canet waving the flag for Canet's teammate Hafiz Shireen in 11th on the other speed up machine.
13 at Lorenzo corner, the hairpin, but really 11 and 12 are spectacular. It just gets a bit too accurate through there. The Moto2 bikes are just about as fast as seconds worth of gap. Oh,
Schroeder as well.
Schroeder has gone down at turn 11, and that's the corner up. Has had great pace all weekend. That gives Sam Lowe's back that 5th place. Sam Lowe's with Schroeder, but Schroeder will have slid out of that.
Such a fast corner. The television doesn't do it justice when you stand on the outside of that. That crash yesterday when Jack Miller was already in the gravel, but it's such a foul under, a little bit of understeer, and at those sort of speeds it's hard to pull the weight back off the front one.
Spun around and turned over and generally leapt into the air at turn 11 and 12. They're a long way back, but it is a fast corner, as you can see. Turn 12 is named Ferrari, turn 11 Alex Crivier, just touching the rev limiter.
This new graphic on the left here is kind of giving you was an accurate representation of each rider on track.
The white line up the middle side of it, and at each track we go to, the curbs are representative, like they're blue and white here. Presumably they'll be orange and white. We'll have to wait and see. 14 laps to go still. EIO KTM badged Calexes, rating as BT Sport from our socially distanced commentary positions.
His personal best lap time last lap around on a 42.3, so it looks like he's settled into a nice. Was 1 second back on him just a couple of laps ago, and he's right on him now. And I think we've learned this weekend that Jorge Martin, perhaps at the end of the race, both he and Nagashima, so later in this race, hopefully that front tyre will come to Sam.
Oh, he's looking more like the man he used to be on a Moto2 bike this weekend.
That's Tom Moody.
That as well, the 21 of Digi, Antonio. Siren is a 55.
This is what we see in Moto2, the depth all the way through. You look at Baldassare there, who was the win, Tom Moody, who we expect to have race wins this year, Xavi Vierge. The rider clicks on that perfect setup that weekend. Perhaps not perfect, but it gives him the feeling. Some gaps at the front when Marini's on the kind of form he's on today.
2019, that big accident exit in turn 1, I think it was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That little 6th place at the moment. Comeback time. Meanwhile, Marco Bezecchi talking to anybody at the moment. He doesn't anybody to see him particularly. Here we go again. He was over them ripple strips, wasn't he? He got it started off on the ripple strips. It's a real fine line racing any kind of motorcycle, but on out on the, it's just tempting to use every bit of track and every bit of.
Just noticing Sam Lowe's has made his way into 4th on that lap, so he's made his way past Aaron's back from them, but I think he's got to get his head down now, just be consistent, hit those apexes.
What you've already said, really, down to those tyres, just how much the drop-off is from that front top.
To Gary Purdy from Dunlop earlier, and he said if you choose that slightly softer option, that have gone for that softer tyre to just not overstress that tyre. 12 laps to go, still a long way in this race to manage that front tyre.
Marini, Nagashima, Shireen looking good in 8th place. Meanwhile, Nagashima, ooh, well, that was inside again. It was a bit of curve. He was hopping across. Aki Ayo, the man with as big a smile as you're going to get out of Aki mid-race, even though we could hardly see it. And the more he does that, and the more it starts to move, the less confidence he's going to have. But low still.
And Nagashima, we saw those shots. He's obviously pushing hard, try and claw onto the back of Luca Marini. But as we know, if he overworks that front tyre, he
earning by the yard. Every lap covered, Aaron Canet is getting quicker. And Moto2 race. Looking down the order, Jake Dixon right around the long lap. Dixon is in 20th place. 10 and a bit laps to go.
Shireen with a nice pass. You don't often see someone get up the inside there, and
grown in stature during the course of the weekend. So good to see the fish.
Here with that KTM, it just didn't work, and he had such a strong rookie MotoGP runner in MotoGP, but the move to KTM really dented his confidence. He just couldn't quickly. We know it hindered Sam Lowes when he went to MotoGP, and with Aprilia emptier confidence.
Tom Luthi gets under Di Giannantonio, and that battle is the battle for 10th at the moment. Good point still there though. So the number 12. But look at the gap we've got there. Massive gap now. 1.5 seconds it says on the screen is the 1.9 from Jorge Martin back to Sam Lowes in 4th place. Aaron learning.
Every lap he does now with the more it beats experience. So as a rookie in Moto2, we've seen it in the past where we still see Canet just sitting inside the bike a little bit, worrying about getting tucked in, but with that, getting immediately behind the bubble, getting those elbows in front of the knees, so you need to manhandle
the finesse. Marini comes to the end then, 9 laps to go. Now it's 5.5 to the leader, 5.5, but then we look back now and through comes the beast. So the 33 of Anaya on Digi. Oh! And gets it very squirrely halfway round turn 2.
Looked so strong and comfortable, and it just seemed that move to the Calex chassis with the American feeling with the front end. But in qualifying yesterday, they said they changed the bike ever so slightly, and he got a little bit confused, made a few too many mistakes. But for him in this race, down in 19th.
To underline what Michael was saying there, and as you say, 19th at the moment, that's a bit of a struggle for 1.2 it was at the line last time. It's still 1.2 now between Luca Marini and predicted. He's finding the pace a little hot. Let's see what's that podium finish here at round 2 of the Moto2 World Championship.
Nagashima's not giving up on this, but Marini, when we see him on foot and then controlling the pace, when Nagashima's upped it a little bit, then Marini's responded and once again control that gap. Nagashima's going to have to really work hard if he wants to make inroads that 1.2 seconds.
On a run now towards that 3rd place that poleman Martin sat on. Just up the ante a little bit, and he's pacing himself so well.
Torque on request, the rear just lit up, threw him out of the seat, not going to cost him too.
Reminds me of Norihaga, he likes it a bit loose.
He's
got that kind of riding style. Fair play. Tatsuta Nagashima then in 2nd place. There it is. Ooh, I tell you what, that was bigger than I thought it was when I saw it last time. Looked worse in slow.
He's maturing and improving every year, so he is quite a character. The Japanese riders are more of a slight build, whereas Nagashima's he's quite muscly. Looks like he grabs the bike by the scruff of the neck and really kind of drags it round.
Sam Lowes is closing up. Remember, he missed out on Qatar because he was injured, and he's got himself back fit again. There's no doubt about it. He is one of the fittest men in the. Takes longer than you would normally be given in a Grand Prix year. A little bit hot there, Sam. He's got plenty of laps left to do this, as perhaps Jorge Martin, and he's certainly been reading the data sheets fairly well, hasn't he, Marini? Because progressed.
Yeah, like his older brother Valentino Rossi, quite methodical. So Marini's done everything right so far this weekend, although Nagashima's only 1 second.
And I remember asking him the question, do you still do all the homework that the young'uns do? Like, incredulous. Of course he does. Every single sheet, every single piece of information that there is to read to give himself the right tools for the job. So Sam Lowes is closing down now, 3rd place. Lowes looking very good indeed. His brother Alex Sam Lowes would like to do to add to his World Supersports Championship.
In there, Sam Lowe's clutch lever has been bent up from that contact with Marcel Schroeder earlier in the race. Luckily on these bikes now they've got an auto blip system. They don't need to use the clutch to go back the gears, just automatically blips the engine, which takes the load off the gearbox and allows that gear.
So although it might have been a bit disconcerting to start with, once he's done his man in front of him now. So it is. Marini's still out sideways action. It's starting to close down Marini. I wonder if Marini is beginning to have a slight to go here. And Nagashima, like Lowe's on Martin, Nagashima on Marini. It's 0.7 of a second from Jorge Martin back to south. Suddenly, the round one winner is thinking he might be a round two winner. It's all about whether Marini can manage this race from where he is. 3.5 laps to go then for Marini to get to the checkered. Lowe's certainly will be on top of Jorge Martin in a minute. And that is and it's come down to 0.79. That was at the line. It's less than that now, that's for sure.
Jorge getting the signals to tell him someone's closing in. He wanted to have a look, see who it was.
Nowadays, because not got any big screens here because there's no fans in, so you haven't got any big screens to look at. Into turn one, across the rumble strip on the braking area. It looks neat and tucked away in there. Here's Sam, the 22 of Sam Lowe's on the Mark VDS team. He signed for that. Yeah, he's coming. Get on it. It says 0.5 now. A second back from Jorge Martin to Sam Lowe's. A tenth out. That was the hurry-up tenth, wasn't it? the extra tenth that they took. Well, these Triumphs have stood up really well to abuse from these Moto2 riders, particularly last year when they first. Trevor Morris from its Stern Pro, the men up on the Aragon Tech Park that have to service these data that was coming through from the first couple of meetings, but it's all settled down now. They've got used to the electronics. It's a big deal for him if he can get Marini round. The boss looks smooth, looks calm, and we've seen it before from him. He doesn't do rash.
He seems to have gelled. He's got a new crew chief this year, and obviously the vocal about that change. It kind of balanced the grip in terms of front to rear. New larger tyre with a bigger contact. Oh, and Tom Luty's on the deck again.
Luty. Wow. A quick old corner as well. Jorge Martin corner. Just skittled out from underneath him. Well, it wouldn't have hurt him apart from mentally. No trouble for Luty except in your brain, because he's got to be here next weekend, of course. We're back. Well, it was 1.5 at the line last time around on Marini. Marini's just up the pace. Perfect race. Sam Lowe's in 4th place as they cross the line at the end of the lap. I think with Nagashima.
I think so. I think frustratingly for Nagashima, Luca's able to respond there. It's 1.5 on your board. You know you've got that breathing space.
Well, it was in the man we're looking at. Started from pole position, and Sam Lowe's, who's in 4th place. Well, you'd be better finishing in 4th place than pushing too hard to
for 4th. That gap's gone up to 1.1 on that lap. And actually, I just had a message from his brother Alex. Rear brake on the left handlebar. So you put that rear brake right where the clutch lever would end. You don't touch the clutch for the rest of the race, but he's got that rear brake there on the left handlebar. And still this weekend, less load in the front. That little bit of rear brake just takes a little bit of pressure off the front. Comfortable, and I think that could be part of the reason.
It's a situation, isn't it, with your style? But of course, the latest era, everybody is trying to try and emulate what they're doing. How are they doing what they do? is the question that Moto3 guys don't use a thumb rear brake a little bit more than they do.
Exactly, it could be coming to the
be wise to, because we are in the last lap now. We're on the final sector. Luca Marini comes. It's our second race of the day. Moto2 is going to be won by the VR46. Wins then here from Tetsuta Nagashima and Jorge Martin, the pole man. Sam Lowe's a fantastic 5th place for him. Happy Siren, I'm really happy to see him in 6th. Then it's Remy Go. Brilliant stuff. It was tight, wasn't it, all the way down there? Bastianini was there as well. I've gone IndyCar all of a sudden. Jake Dixon finished in 18th place. That's a great recovery. So Jake Dixon ends up out of the points, but 18th place, completes the race, and we're back.
Yeah, 2 times round the long lap for him. That penalty for jumping the start has cost him a lot today. To the team, they can maybe adjust something, give him a little bit more feed.